Hey there, and welcome to this week's Sunday Musings, where every week I take a little time and talk about something that's been on my mind. I also write a weekly blog hosted on Medium. I invite you to check it out. It contains a complimentary blog, but often with additional resources and some different commentary. I would love to have a conversation with you to hear what your thoughts are. So reach out, message, respond to what you see here, or wait until the end of the video and check out my calendar and let's schedule a time to have a conversation. So this week is another book discussion. And to be fair and transparent, this was not a book that was on my long reading list. It was challenged to me to read as part of a book club in one of my women's organizations. And we went over this book over 3 months, breaking it into parts and talking about how it applied to our life. It's Lead from the Outside by Stacey Abrams. I've been a long fan and admirer of Stacy. I've read a lot about her in the news, but I really didn't pay a lot of attention to her books. And so this was a great change. And there are others, and I will probably add them to my reading list. But Lead from the Outside is a leadership book. And you might ask, oh my gosh, why another one? There are so many leadership books out there. And that's true, there are. But Lead from the Outside is focused on those who are not part of the majority, the white male majority leaders. And it is shifting and changing so that that is not always the case, but it's focusing on those who are not part of the club. They may be people of color, women, transgender, racially or ethnically diverse groups that are not represented, or part of the LGBTQAI community, or part of multiple communities. This book acknowledges that there is not an equality yet in leadership, and there is not an equal playing field or equal access for everybody, and also provides some tools and thoughts on how you can actually get there. So how do you start? First, you really need to understand what you want out of life, what your goals and your visions and your dreams are. You need those because if you don't have a shining star or a direction to head into, you can't possibly get there. And you certainly can't lead others there. When you know the what you want, you need to really focus on why it's important. Why? The why is your passion, is going to be what feeds you, what keeps you going when the going gets tough. And once you figured out your what's and your whys, perhaps you should consider and do some goal mapping and some planning and figure out how you're going to head in that direction and get to that point. The how is just a starting plan. It can change and it can evolve, but the fuel that's going to power your journey is your why. Your journey to what is powered by your why, and your map is your how. As you start your journey, you might very well find that you are surrounded or weighed down by some fears. And first of all, the fear might be of being different, or even the fear of not being good enough. Understanding those fears and acknowledging that they exist is the first step. You cannot let fears sit in the dark, whispering to you and telling you those things. You need to bring them out in the open, acknowledge them, and name them. And as you do so, they can lose power. And part of the other way you can help those fears lose power over you is by focusing and doing an inventory of yourself. What are your strengths? What are those skills that you know confidently you can help use to move forward? And acknowledging those things that you might be a little weaker at and making a plan to mitigate their impact. Perhaps you need to take a class to learn a skill. Perhaps you need to find guidance or a mentor to help direct you on how to do something. Perhaps you just need to push it to the back of your mind and power through using your strengths. But knowing and acknowledging your strengths and your weaknesses and working together and naming those fears is one of the best things you can do for yourself. It'll help you overcome and move forward. You need to also acknowledge that the path moving from here to your vision is really a journey, and it might not be a direct A to B. There are very likely going to be obstacles and changes that you need to make, and you might need to find ways to make a door because the door in front of you might be locked and you can't find the key to get into where you need to. So instead of waiting, make your own door. Be creative and innovative. Use your network of people, use your skills and your strengths, and find ways to take a step to the left or the right and make your own door and find a way in. Or go into the back door and find a different way. There's always a way. You just need to be willing to invest a little time and be creative. You also might need to find a champion or talk to your personal board of directors and see if they can find and introduce you or find ways to help support you into where you need to go. Never forget the strength of your personal board of directors. They are going to help you through so many challenging times in your life. Speaking of that, learn to appreciate when you make mistakes. Mistakes are just an opportunity to learn. And celebrate the learning you make from the mistakes and the successes you make when you have them. You have to celebrate your victories because that will help fuel you and remind you of your why and help you keep going. Perseverance and struggle take energy, but celebrating those things that you do well and lessons you learn can help keep you energized as you have to continue. With all of this, you need to find balance in your life. And that's not to say that all things balance the scales. Stacy talks about work-life Jenga. I like to think about work-life Tetris. When I was a kid, I was obsessed with the game of Tetris, moving shapes down, tucking them together so they fit just right. Sometimes having to sacrifice and make a layer where there were gaps below because the shapes I was handed didn't quite fit right, only to be able to clear the lines later and slide something in and clear larger areas. Sometimes that means taking a step back to find a creative solution to change the way forward so I can even overcome more. Finding the right way to work in your personal life, in your work life, and to fit everything together so that you are taken care of is a decision that only you can make. But you need to make a conscious decision to take care of you, to prioritize those things that really matter to you, not necessarily to those around you, because you are becoming a trendsetter, a path clearer. And sometimes that means there is no way forward that anybody knows of. You're going to create your own way to change. You're going to be a trendsetter. And so you need to figure out the best way to do that and to take care of you at the same time. My final thoughts. Stacy comments that fear is real. It's insidious and damaging. It can be defeated if we are willing to name it, to own it, and to use it. It is a common obstacle, but fighting fear demands sacrifice. You cannot avoid confronting fear, not if what you want to do is move forward, to lead, to obtain your mission and your vision. Those are my thoughts, and I would really love to hear yours. And until next time.